Alright, so I'm super excited because half of this stuff was not supposed to arrive, or I guess on Amazon, probably like a default was said it was going to be arriving around April, the end of April. So I got it all today by surprise. Super happy. Not all of it. Actually, I got the sub a little earlier, so I've already built the box and I've already installed that and already wired it up. I did just install this piece. This is a piece that I was waiting for, which came in with all my other stuff. So let's see what I got. First off, I got the wiring kit to install a sub and amp for the 60. And along with that, I got a small subwoofer. It's like 6 3/4, so I want to fit it in the back rear quarter panel. I think I've already showed this. If not, you'll see where it's going soon. I got two 5 1/4 inch speakers. Uh, I'm actually replacing. This is what that came with the truck. It's all busted out. But yeah, so I'm replacing these. I think originally they came with like 4 something, because there was holes that were drilled to match for this speaker, the size speaker. So I went with 2 of these. I do plan to get 2 6x9s for the back, but that's going to be a little bit later. I just want to get all the major wiring done. I bought this kicker amp, 720 watts max, 360 watts RMS, 4 channel. So 2 channels will go to the front speakers, and the other 2 channels I'll bridge them to power the sub. I did have to buy, so I guess what's it called? The REM, which turns on the amp, which gives a signal to let the amp turn on. I did get. So I'm not gonna buy a radio. Before I go there, I'm not gonna get a radio. This is what I'm gonna be using for now. Jack showed me this. I thought it seemed pretty cool. I mean, I really don't use a radio anyways, just always on my phone. So it's a wireless audio adapter, a Bluetooth adapter. And the way it works is you just connect through Bluetooth on your phone, and then it has a headphone jack, and then what's it called? RCA audio. Let me just open it. So you can connect to it through either a headphone jack or this audio out. I think it's RCA. I forget. But yeah, pretty cool. So I'll be using this as my source of audio. And because I don't have a radio, I'll need to wire the REM wire to some sort of fuse that goes on whenever you turn the truck on, such as the ignition or accessories lights. So I only needed 1, but they came in a pack of 10. So this will tap into an existing fuse, and so you connect this into an existing fuse slot, and then there are 2 fuses, one for the fuse that you're tapping into, that'll still remain on that fuse, and then this fuse, I believe it's this fuse, will go to this wire, which will connect to the REM output or input of the amp. So now it's just time to get started on wiring everything. Let's get to it. I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what this sounds like. Alright, so I have the power wire connected to the fuse, run through the firewall. And I have that coming through here along the side of the truck. So I'll run everything else on the other side of the truck so there's no interference. Wires going through here, and then finally out on this end. And I went ahead and grounded the ground wire to I guess this bracket for the back seat. So I went ahead and ground a nice piece of metal down so it's a nice solid connection. So I got all that done. Now I'm just connecting the REM cable, which that gives the amp signal to turn on, so it's not always on. So what I'm doing right now is tapped into the fuse, and I'm going to go ahead and use the amp that is for the radio. Hopefully that'll work. because obviously the radio will turn on when the car's on and turn off when the car's off. So what I went ahead and did is pulled the fuse out. I went to make sure which side is the power side, which on this case is the right hand side. Use a voltmeter to check that, and this is my fuse tap, and from what I read is the fuse tap. So I reinserted the fuse that I took out for the radio, which is 7.5, and installed it on the bottom part. Now on the top part I put a 5 volt fuse, so that way the top one needs to be lower than the bottom one, and then this the power side is going to be this side over here, and then the draw side is going to be this side. You want to make sure to get that properly set. If not, instead of blowing the fuse, it'll just burn up the wire down the line. And you can see there's some other taps that have been placed, probably from another radio that was installed or something. These are not as nice of taps as this what I have here, but it works. Just gotta make sure I can fit my new tap in place. Okay. Now all I gotta do is wire my REM cable, and I'm gonna go ahead and do this right now and test it to see if the amp turns on before I might as well get everything in place. Never mind, forget what I said. I'm gonna go ahead and get this wired, run it to the back, and then I'll check in later. So I can't wait. Right now it's just have everything wired. I want to see if it works, because I would hate to have everything set up and then find out something was wrong. So I'm gonna do a little test right now. I haven't turned it on anything. Well, actually, I turned on the amp, make sure it had power, and it was getting signal when it should. So got my music going. Truck's on. I need to turn this on. Alright, got power. I'll turn the music off real quick. Connect the Bluetooth. I got this shirt on. Connected. Turn the music back on. And we got nothing. Got the gain all the way down. So I'm gonna turn that up. So I gotta check this out, make sure I wired everything right, so I'll be back. Alright, so I think I figured it out. Yeah! I don't think the sub is set up properly. I have it bridged, but it looks like it should be a lot louder than what it is now, and it's hardly even moving like at full volume. So I still got to figure out what's going on there, but it's working. I'm gonna get everything finished, installed, and see if I can figure out what's going on with the sub. So I got one speaker installed already. I'm working on the passenger side speaker. I've already soldered my two wires together and then shrink wrapped them, and now I'm gonna go ahead and feed the wire from the door in here, run it along the other side as I have the power from the amp going on this side. Be done. Done wiring. It's still kind of a mess back here. I want to figure out what's going on with the sub. I really feel it should be louder. It's hardly moving. I think it should be way more powerful and louder than what it's sounding. I'll figure that out. I just want to get everything wired so I can have some music and stop using my Bluetooth speaker. Alright, I'm back at it again. Let's see where I left off yesterday. So I got everything hooked up. Everything's working. The sub, there was a switch on the amp Remember I said that the sub really didn't have enough power? There was a switch on the amp that I switched. It was like a high-low, and I had it on high thinking that would be a higher output, but I didn't read into the instructions much, and when I switched it, everything got so much louder, so I figured that out. Now on the sub, the reason the sub really didn't sound loud at all is because the box, as you can probably see it, which I kind of thought about it after I made the box, but the sub box is way too small for that sub. So I'm gonna have to rebuild that box, and hopefully the sub will be actually, I can actually hear it, because right now I really don't hear anything. What I got here, I got some MDF, 1/4 inch, and I'm gonna be making a new side panel, so that way I can retain the old original ones, which keep these, which they're not that great of shape, but I'm gonna go ahead and use this as a template to make a new panel for this. So I'm gonna stop right here on these rear panels. I did have a plan for them, and that has changed, so I want to go ahead and do a video on that separately, and not make this video too long. So that being said, let's continue with the radio installation. Plan was to put the sub box right in this corner right here. So I'm not gonna make the box yet, but I wanted to get the template of this hole. So I went ahead and put a piece of cardboard box in there, basically just outline the size of this hole, so that way I know exactly how big of a box I can be able to put in here. Alright, so I've been messing around with the sound system, and I have an update. I'm gonna ditch the sub idea that I had to begin with. I did some calculations and they were completely wrong, I'll admit it. This is a new sub box. It's a lot bigger, and it sounds a lot better now. Actually, it actually is a lot louder, because it is correct within the range of the cubic feet required. Now the plan was to have the box in the fender here in this area, but due to the size and I think I can make it happen, some shape that kind of fits the entire opening right there. And I thought, well, since I wasn't too sure if this little 6-inch sub was gonna be loud enough to begin with, I didn't want to go through all the trouble of building that box and then finding out it's really not loud enough for me. So what I did is I built a box, just a regular box, to find out how loud it's gonna be, and it actually bumps pretty good. I think it's I want it to be a little bit louder, and the reason I went with such a tiny sub was because I was gonna try to fit it in there. But now that I want some more bass, since I already have this 6-inch, I'm gonna get another 6-inch, and I'm gonna make, I guess I have a dual sub box. This one bumps pretty good, but I think if I have another 6-inch, it'll bump, obviously it's gonna bump louder, and it'll be where I want it. I could go with an 8-inch, but I already have this purchased, so I'm just gonna go with the dual 6-inch sub. Good right now. I just want a little bit more bass, and I plan on getting some 6x9, so I'll put a hole here for a 6x9 as well as the other side. The sub box is just going to be out and about, which I didn't want, but that's the way it's going to be if I want that bass I'm looking for. And then I'll mount the amp somewhere on here, and then another 6x9 over there. So yeah, right now I'm just I'm going to go ahead and clean up some of this wiring. I've already gotten started. Let's take a look at how the installation came out. So in the front we have the power cable that goes to the USB, and then like I said, I was gonna have the center console kind of clamp down on the wires, and this doesn't really go anywhere, and sometimes I need to push this button to connect to the Bluetooth. So that's one of the reasons why I kept it out. I could also, so one thing we thought about, I mentioned in the video, is having a power cable that goes to the inside, and I can run, put a USB connector in here and have everything on the inside. But maybe when I get the Tuffy center console, I'll go ahead and do that, and that'll be much cleaner. I can get rid of this wire, free up a USB, and hide this as well. So for the front, that's all you really see. All the wiring's been hidden underneath the carpet. On the rear, there's no visible wires. Everything's been hidden. A lot of the wires kind of came across this way. And then for the back, there's the sub wire that comes out right here, which I'll need obviously for the sub. But then once I make that bigger sub box, I'll probably just center the sub right here in the middle. Now for the back, there's obviously got the power wires, ground, and the speaker cables. I guess I can make it a little bit cleaner, but that's the way I left it for now. What I'm thinking about doing is maybe running all the wires to the inside of the fender and then have them coming out of the panel. Here's just the RCA that connects to the amp in the back. And of course, these panels, I'm working on them. You'll see the latest update on these on my next video. So that's going to be it for now. So stay tuned so you can see what I end up doing with these rear panels and continue working on the truck. Check y'all later.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.